Hacksaw Ridge is a brutal and violent war film directed by controversial director Mel Gibson and is based on the true story of World War II American Army medic Desmond Doss, played by Andrew Garfield here, who served during the Battle of Okinawa, one of the bloodiest battles of the entire war, where he managed to save 75 men without firing or carrying a single gun. He refused to use or carry a firearm or any weapons of any kind because of his personal and religious beliefs as a Seventh-day Adventist, which is part of the Protestant sect of Christianity. To put it simply, this film was kind of a mixed bag for me. Like, it already got off to a pretty bad start with just the very first frame, which said, a true story. You know, not based on a true story, mind you, but a true story. And that just seemed like something incredibly cocky to do. But then I remembered that, hey, this is a Mel Gibson film. Mel Gibson films are pretty cocky. Some people would probably even say that he goes beyond the realms of decency, like straight into tastelessness. Now, I myself wouldn't go that far, but yeah, he does like upping the ante. He does like making his viewers feel very uncomfortable, but sometimes it just seems that that's the only thing he is interested in doing, and I really think that can be a major hindrance to actually telling a profound story. I've done my research on this film, and it seems that most of the film is pretty accurate, so I'll give them that, but I also have to criticize them for the stuff they changed, for the stuff they fictionalized, especially in the first half of the film, the first hour of this 2-hour movie, in which we have this very cliche love story in which guy and girl just happen to be at the right place at the right time. Desmond is taking a guy to the hospital. There he sees Dorothy, who is a nurse, and just decides on the spot that he is going to donate blood as a way to get her to talk to him. And then the next day he comes back again and blah blah blah, so they fall in love and they get married. The reality is that they actually met in much more bland circumstances. They met in church, and Dorothy actually didn't become a nurse until after the war, where she needed to become one because that was the only way they could support their family, because due to Desmond's injuries during the war, he couldn't have a full-time job. So, you know, like, reality, much bleaker than movie, and I really don't know, I don't understand this change. I don't understand why they had to sugarcoat something like this in a war movie. Another change I really didn't like is when he is talking about the moment he decided to never touch a gun ever again. Like, in the film, it's his drunk father who wants to shoot his mother, and it is him who intervenes and takes the gun from his father. In real life, it was actually his father who wanted to shoot his uncle, his mother's brother, and his mother was that one actually who intervened and took the gun from his father and gave it to Desmond to hide. Also, there's no actual record of him ever being beaten up by his fellow soldiers. I mean, yeah, he was made fun of and ridiculed, but he was never actually physically assaulted like he is in the films. You know, like, little changes like that made to dramatize, which I didn't really care for. I didn't really think they were needed. But when it got to the second part, you know, the part with the war, the stuff I actually wanted to see, man, I was quite surprised. These might be some of the most violent and brutal, like, combat sequences I have ever seen in a film. It just goes to show you, if there's anything that Mel Gibson does best, it's directing, like, very violent and intense scenes and keeping up the momentum. He already proved that with Passion of the Christ. I mean, that whole film was an endurance test. That whole film was about keeping up the momentum. During an interview, Mel Gibson was asked if this film is an anti-war film, and his response was like, yeah, of course, all war films are anti-war films. And I understand what he is saying, and I agree with them. Now, obviously, not all war films are anti-war films. There is such a thing like propaganda films, but like most American war films, especially nowadays, yeah, they are indeed anti-war films. But there's also something so troubling in that, is that why do people love these sort of films so much, these combat films? Isn't it because they are so incredibly entertaining? I mean, yeah, these scenes, these action scenes are incredibly brutal, but at the same time, they are fucking entertaining, and there's just something so perverse in that. Now, I'm not criticizing the film necessarily for this. There's also a lot of heart and soul in the film, and most of the stuff in the second half is incredibly, like, historically accurate. This Desmond guy was just a complete fucking lunatic. I mean, some of the stuff he did, like, he also helped Japanese soldiers on the battleground, not just his fellow soldiers. He stepped on grenades. He was just fucking insane. However, I also have some gripes with the second half of the film as well, and mostly has to do with the way the opposing side, the Japanese, are presented. Keep in mind, there's not a single word in Japanese uttered in this entire film. The Japanese are presented as mere goons who crawl out of holes in the ground, out of tunnels, out of caves. All they ever do is shout and grunt. I swear to God, there are shots in this film that reminded me of The Lord of the Rings, when the horde of orcs are approaching. I mean, that's how bad it is. I mean, even during the end, when the Japanese are being defeated by the Americans, happens. There's like a sort of a Japanese commander who is committing a kamikaze type of suicide. I really didn't understand why that was so necessary in the film, and really, I kind of thought we were over this, but it seems like we're not. To me, it just seemed like kind of disrespectful, to be honest. Mel Gibson said that he actually left some stuff out of the film that did happen in real life, that Desmond did do, but were just too absurd and too unbelievable to put in a film. People wouldn't believe it. In my opinion, he also could have left out two other things that were in the film that were pretty, not unbelievable necessarily, but just stupid. Like, there's a scene in which Desmond is dragging Vince Vaughn's character on the ground on some jacket or something like that because his legs are injured, and he is just shooting the Japanese who are running from behind. That was very funny. And the another scene in which it takes place in the very end when he like kicks a grenade and he kicks it like a football. It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Now, Mel Gibson has said that so, that was my review. Thanks for watching my review. God, this film fucked me up. It's so funny during the end. Anyway, yeah. So would I recommend it? Yes, I would recommend it. It has good stuff in it. Mostly the second half. Like, just watch the second half. I mean, who cares about that first half? Yeah, I would recommend it. What's your favorite war movie? What is your favorite war movie? Don't forget to leave your comments down below. If you enjoyed this review, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so I can see you later with other reviews. Until then, folks, stay cool, stay awesome, keep loving movies. Goodbye.